What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Game Show presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, Joey Wright. What's up, Joey?
Wait, I'm not your handsome co-host? I'm usually handsome. Listen, I'm doing great. I'm going to cut the shtick. I'm going to go off the show sheet where my normal 20 seconds of funny Joey is at. Congratulations, Dave Richard and Nato DeFino, two friends of our show, for induction in the Fantasy Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. Well-deserved, both of them. I know when I was first, before I was even writing or doing anything at all, two of the people I listened to the most, and congratulations to both of them.
Truly. Unbelievably deserving, both of those guys, Dave Richard and Nando DeFino. Huge shout-outs. Guys, joining us today for our first mock draft of the offseason, a Superflex Dynasty startup mock draft with rookies. Sleeper got them rookies in there early this year. Our friends Ladarius Brown and Craig Ruth. For those of you that do not know our friends, come on, you got to get with the picture. But our friend Ladarius is a writer over at Beyond Women's Sports and at Blog and Dirty, covering the Atlanta Falcons, and a senior analyst over at the Sportskeeda Pro Football Network. Our friend Craig is the creative director over at Roto Heat Fantasy, doing IDP content, and the host of Player Normal Activity, where he covers some paranormal events within the fantasy space. Craig and Ladarius, thanks so much for joining us, my friends.
Always great to be here with you guys.
I'm hyped to be mock drafting with you guys. First mock draft of the offseason. And we got some people in the chat. Craig appearing twice. Said, I hope everyone in the chat is wearing their smock for today's show. Craig,
we're kind of wearing smocks.
Look. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I didn't want to be alone. And before I don't like correcting people, but I have to do this because my son is going to give me crap. My last name is Wreath. So like Christmas wreath. Just think of it that way. Like literally everyone does it. I get my first name. I get Keith all the time. I get all sorts of weird stuff. But since my son is going to give me crap about it, I'm going to correct it. So there you go, Jameson.
Craig, I want to formally apologize to you and your son for the number of times that I've mispronounced your name then. Just over and over and over again. We've known each other and I mispronounce it repeatedly.
So just pretend the U is not there?
Sure. If that works.
That's how I'm going to remember it.
Yeah. We got it. Everyone, now we all know. It's Craig Reed. I apologize, Craig. And I apologize, Craig's son. It will not happen again. And we got Dame in here saying, what's happening, peeps? What's up, Dame? Welcome in, friend. What's up? FYF in here. Howdy, partners. Wonder who's running that over there. And Jay, excited for the mock drafts and mock draft, baby. And look who it is. Burner. Woo! Welcome back, Burner. Glad to have you here. And Jay Wall said, this draft is about to be wreathless. It doesn't quite work.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Come on.
It doesn't make any sense at all, Jay Wall. Grow up. Mr. Scamper's in here. What's up, Mr. Scamper? Said, ooh, hi, everybody. What's up, Scampers? And Swamp said, at work, and I cry. Tell Jimmy Jones to give you a break. Guys, we have one spot left in our mock draft. I just posted the link in the and it's gone. Just like that. So you can click on that link. If you want to follow along with the mock draft as we get into it. Before we get started with that, a couple reminders. First and foremost, if you are not already following our guests, you need to go and follow them right now. You can find Craig on Twitter at RotoHeatCraig, and you can find Ladarius on Twitter at Ladarius_Brown. Two of the best follows in this space. Two of our great friends here, and you guys want to make sure that you're following them. Joe, are you giggling at something in the chat?
I was scared when the names came up that I might have changed mine to Wiener Boy or something and just not changed it back. So I was really relieved when I saw it was my actual name. So
have you guys ever done that in a work meeting? Accidentally had your name set as something else or anything along those lines? I remember in college,
that's why I was scared.
I sent one of my friends' email signatures just to say bye-bye. Those two words at the bottom, and it took them months to realize that all of their emails just said bye-bye at the bottom. It's simple, it's innocent enough, but you don't want to be saying bye-bye to everyone. Burner, and you're saying I took the 3 spot to snipe Joey. Okay. And Mrs. Scampers in the chat said, I've missed you all. Have you seen my husband? Nah, he hasn't been around here much recently. Craig, have you seen Mr. Scampers?
I saw him this morning. He was in the morning show chat, I think, but maybe she has to get up earlier to find him.
Yeah, probably. Ladarius, have you seen Mr. Scampers running around?
No, I might have saw him. I was grabbing something. I was at the gas station. Maybe I saw him. Maybe deja vu. I don't know. Maybe I saw him.
Check the gas station.
I saw him. I'll rat him out. I don't care. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I'll wreath him out. Is that what we say?
That's not what we say, Joey. That's for sure not what we say. Mrs. Scampers, I'm sorry. We'll let you know if we run into him here. And Come Here Now. What's up, Come Here Now? He said, hello, how are you? And said he's taking a poop in his Liddy box. You know what? He very well may be taking a poop in his Liddy box. And we got Albert in here. What's up, Albert?
What's up, Albert?
We say I love calling it a Liddy box instead of a litter box. Like it is about to get Liddy in this
because it's got a little tiny disco ball in there. So it's like Liddy. You know.
Guys, this draft, the format is Superflex Dynasty. This is a startup draft here. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and a super flex spot. Only 3 bench in this because of time. You know, this is an hour-long show. We don't want to keep everyone running here forever. In normal Dynasty, there would probably be another 10 rounds plus, 15 rounds plus in this draft. Craig, no IDP in this one. I know that's your area of expertise, but we got to get you back on here for an IDP draft at some point this season. You can take us to school.
I can try to.
And that's not on you and your knowledge. That's on our ability to learn is where the try comes in. Can you teach the buffoons from FYF how to play IDP? I'm going to go and get this started. Ladarius, you got the first overall pick here. Joey, you got pick number 4. I'm sitting at pick 9, and Craig is closing us out at pick 12.
Great.
Let's go ahead
really
and
balanced.
get this draft started. Ladarius, I'm curious to see who your number 1 overall pick is here in a Superflex Dynasty. Are you going to stick with the quarterback or are you going a different position?
Oh, boy. Look, I'm quarterback loyal to a fault. And you know what? I'm going to stick with kind of how I based my team around. And with my quarterback, I have 2 quarterbacks in my mind. And I'm just going to go stick quarterback, and I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. I don't blame you. There's probably 2 quarterbacks that are the common first picks right there. Oh, are you in there, Ladarius?
Am I? Let me see.
You can add that in there.
Let me see.
Otherwise, I can manually set it. I'll manually set it this time if you're taking Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, we got it in there. Patrick Mahomes.
Cool. All right.
Craig, is that who you would take with the number 1 overall pick? I know you're picking at the end here, but those guys up for 101 probably aren't sitting there at 112 anyways.
Probably not. Yeah, it probably is Patrick Mahomes, and maybe this is a little bit overreactive just to what you've seen lately, but you've seen some worrisome things with Josh Allen, over the past end of the season here with turnovers and just looking like he regressed a little bit to what he had been prior and not just moving forward. And will it necessarily continue? I don't know. But Patrick Mahomes pretty much is the steady guy up there at the top year after year. And I don't see how you can go wrong taking him at 1-1.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit safer. I've been hearing the narrative all over that without Dable, that's why we're seeing what's going on with Josh Allen this year, that they're really missing Dable there. Joey, are you buying into that? Oh, I pulled the classic wait till you're on clock to ask you a question. Craig, are you buying into that, Craig, that it's Dable's absence that's leading to this downturn in play from Josh Allen?
Without really knowing, I think from what we've seen with Daniel Jones' ascension to just a steady NFL quarterback that's productive for fantasy purposes, I think you'd have to say at least a little bit yes. With Josh Allen going down, then the turnaround that he had with Daniel Jones, there has to be something to it. Now, is that everything? Probably not. There's probably other factors at play there. But I do think a coach that good, and I would say that Daboll is that good with what we've seen him do in New York year 1 with that roster. And I think there probably is something to it.
I keep looking at that roster and thinking, how the hell, not only are they in the playoffs, but did they win a playoff game in their divisional round? This is the least, and this is a compliment to Daboll, and that I'm sorry, but it's the least talented team I've seen win a playoff game in at least the last couple of years. It's a little bit shocking just from a names on the roster perspective, but Daboll's getting it done. Joe, you grabbed Jalen Hurts with your first overall pick. That is a big turnaround from what you thought about this dude this time last year.
It is. And I would just like to say to Burner, you came on this show to snipe me, and you did not get to do what you wanted to do because I would have taken Jalen Hurts at the 103 after Mahomes and Allen.
No, Gary, you son of a gun. That was everything I wanted right there. God,
Gary, we appreciate you here at FYF. Thank you so much.
Well, I said this guy belonged in a tier with the top quarterbacks, and I'm going to stand by it. I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence. Craig, now this is where you roast my homer pick.
For as much crap as I like to give you guys from Clemson, you guys have a ton of great players in the NFL, and it's hard to hate on the players. The little jabs are fun, but Trevor Lawrence, everyone was down on him, after that first year, and he showed people why he was that, pretty much consensus first pick in that draft. And then, a lot of fantasy drafts, if you're talking Superflex, with what he's able to do out there. And certainly the improved coaching staff, I think, has a lot to do with that when you're upgrading from Urban Meyer to Doug Peterson. And hopefully the coaching staff in Chicago does something similar with Justin Fields, where they put more faith in him and believe in and put some weapons around him. But I don't have a problem with you taking him there.
I think it makes sense. And Craig, what you brought up, I think we're seeing the importance of it. It's already 2 quarterbacks now in this draft that we've talked about that coaching this year we feel like has a direct impact. Daniel Jones with Dable being added, Trevor Lawrence with Doug Peterson being added to that coaching staff down there. It really does make a difference for these young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Ladarius, are you buying into what we've seen from Trevor Lawrence this year? Is he one of the top tier QBs in the NFL? Or are you a little bit less bullish on him?
No, actually, I think you guys kind of alluded to the point. I think I made a tweet about it where I said the importance of coaching, and Doug Peterson knows quarterbacks. I think that's very important if you look at his track record. And it was easy to write off Trevor Lawrence last year because of all the Urban Meyer. It was easy to write him off. But it's amazing how not only did he change Trevor Lawrence, and the numbers prove that, but he changed the culture with Doug Peterson in a grander scheme. And that's why I say I think we're going to see a lot of great years out of Trevor Lawrence, and you might see him in the MVP conversation as early as next year. That's how high I am on Trevor Lawrence. I've always been high on him. I just felt that Urban Meyer just proved very early on he just wasn't the coach for Trevor Lawrence.
That stink of Urban Meyer. It takes a minute to wash off too. We got Scampers in the chat saying, now that I think of it, the Gritty does look like you're pooping in a Liddy box, and I cannot unsee that yet. You got to do the motion to get it out. The arm motion is what helps get it out. Jay in here loving Burner's pick of Joe Burrow at the 3 spot. Joe Burrow is one of the quarterbacks that I'm not exactly sure where he belongs in that top tier of QBs. Joey, where is he in that top tier of quarterbacks for you?
At 4.
Number 4. What about you, Craig?
He's probably 4 or 5. I didn't have a list up in front of me, but that sounds about right.
Sounds about right. Ladarius, are you agreeing with these guys, or would you have Joe Burrow higher or lower?
No, I feel that to me, I feel that maybe 4 is the ideal spot. I think 4 is an ideal spot for me.
Makes sense. Burner in here, appreciating Jay right there. And then Jay saying he wants to be adopted by Dable over there. Makes sense. He could probably turn you into at least a halfway decent quarterback, Jay. Greg.
He does. Yeah, he does kind of like Daddy Warbucks. So
Craig, on the turn, you took Lamar Jackson, who I was really hoping would sneak back to me, and Breece Hall. I like your start. Tell us a little bit about what you were thinking with those picks.
So for where I had Lamar Jackson going into this year and what I still think he is as a quarterback, I think he fell too far. The question just is, where is he playing? Is he playing? What's going to happen with that? But the talent is too high for me to just pass on him here with either one of those picks. I probably would have taken him over Trevor Lawrence if, we were completely sure of the situation with him. And I know that does kind of muddle stuff for people. And Breece Hall over Jonathan Taylor McCaffrey is probably eye-raising to some people, but what we saw out of him in a dynasty league, I do tend to sort of lean towards youth. It was kind of between him and McCaffrey at that point, but I went with the younger player.
And I'm facing the same battle right here, Craig, whether I want to go young or whether I want to go McCaffrey. But I love those first 2 picks, and I think we're going to have a similar start to our draft. You know what? It's mock season. I'm going to do it. I'm taking the first rookie off the board, and I'm taking Bijan Robinson up here. The dude seems like the real deal. I know we don't have a landing spot yet, but I'm not going to be shocked if we see him up near that first round after the NFL draft, depending on his landing spot. The dude's like, there hasn't been a better prospect since Saquon Barkley, at least in my mind, just from what he can do, the speed size combo, over 6 yards a carry this year at Texas. Like, dude looks unbelievable.
I've done 2 dynasty startups this season that weren't mocks outside of this, and Bijan went at that 1-2 turn. So you actually got him at a little bit better spot than what I've seen him going at.
Man, but it's hard to argue with the start Z2 just got with Justin Herbert followed by Christian McCaffrey. Like, you're feeling pretty good about that if you're Z2. I like that start. And Calvin in here saying, curse you, Simon. I'm guessing Cal wanted some Bijan Robinson. Also, if you want to draft those rookies, there are buried in the sleeper rankings right now. So you got to go hunt them out and decide when you want to draft them because they're not just showing up near the top. They don't got the ADP data on them yet, but it'll come. Also, Burner said there's more rounds, Joey. I'll get you eventually. Eventually. And they said, okay, I'll leave. Don't leave. Stay and hang out. You got to snipe Joey.
No, I'll tell you, Swamp came on the show today to snipe me. I can't even talk. He did so well there.
Swiper, no swiping.
Wait, who took Dak? Oh man, I'm tilting. Gary.
You want a Diggs and Dak? Were those your next two picks?
Yeah. All right. I think I actually got a really good. I'm tilting. Okay. How much time do I have? Okay.
While you're making that pick, 234 in here wanted to know, do y'all like Kenneth Walker as the first RB drafted? Craig, how do you feel about Kenneth Walker as the first running back off the board?
It's a little bit spicy for me. I know he's in a great situation. And Seattle certainly has the potential to, just improve that team. But I'm really curious what's going to end up happening. They overachieved this year, I think, in pretty much everyone's mind. And is that something that's going to be sustainable for them? Pete Carroll's a great coach, but he is getting old. They really don't have the quarterback position figured out. They're going to have to figure that out, whether they're going to go with Geno again. I think they probably do pay him something and then have someone come in behind him. Or they're going to continue to just be mainly a run-focused team. There's a lot of things that team does need help in to continue its success. So I don't know that he's going to continue to be as successful in how he performed this year, talking about Walker. But he certainly deserves to be in that top grouping of running backs. It's just probably more towards the latter part of the second round for me.
That makes sense. I think he's got the upside to be one overall, but I'm probably not taking him there. Also, I see we got a Zach Wilson pick here at 2-2. Guys, do your best to draft guys that you want to draft. I think I'm going to go ahead and change this just to another quarterback in that range. How do you guys feel about that? Just to keep the draft a little bit more steady, a little bit more accurate. You guys cool with that?
Yeah.
I throw Kyler Murray instead of Zach Wilson there.
Yeah.
As the pick. Okay. Just to put Kyler Murray in there. And then Mr. Scamper said not to pillow talk as they proceed to immediately pillow talk. But how far does Russell Wilson fall? We will find out. And Joey looks a little upset by that pillow talk.
That kind of pillow talk may kick you to the couch.
Ladarius on the turn, grabbing Austin Eckler and Travis Kelce, not scared off by the age. You're building a win now team is what it looks like.
Oh, yeah. Stack. I don't know what the word rebuild means. So it's not in my lexicon. I don't know what it means.
Is that generally how you like to play fantasy, Ladarius, going just a little bit more age agnostic?
Yeah, to me, I like to sometimes I might go spicy, but sometimes it's always good to go with what you know and go with consistency. And so I was looking at the board, and to be honest with you, I was looking at Hill and Amon-Ra St. I was looking at St. Brown, and I would have, if they were still available. But I said, well, Eckler's there. I'll grab him because I know what I'm getting, and I know his role in the Chargers offense. So I know what I'm getting. It goes back to the issue of consistency, and I just like Travis Kelce. I think easily, to me, one of the best. And I'm, as a Kyle Pitts guy, I like tight ends. Pause. But so I go with what I know. So that's kind of the strategy, kind of in this draft, and hopefully I might make a spicy one later down the road.
Also, we got Scott in here saying, "Hey everyone, what's up, Scott?" And they said, "Joey, don't take my guy." Did he take your guy?
I don't think I did.
And Garrett Wilson, woo! All these rookie wide receivers from this past year. That's what I'm most curious to see, where they settle in these dynasty drafts. Not just here, but as offseason unfolds. Joey, you like Garrett Wilson? Is he the first one taken of that class?
Yeah. Let me just double check. I believe so. Yes. Yeah. First one of that class.
And so I'm guessing he's your top of that class.
He is my top of that class. I would have taken T. Higgins above him. So I was a little once again, Burner has not sniped me yet in this draft. I do like T. Higgins a little bit better than Garrett Wilson, but Garrett Wilson's right behind him.
And Burner in here said, my double Ohio QB strategy is playing out to perfection. What state will he target for his running backs?
Utah.
How many running backs from Utah are there in the NFL?
If watch, Burner's going to draft Algier, and you'll all be like, he's a genius. How did Joey know? Like, I know.
Is Algier from Utah?
Went to Brigham Young, right?
Brigham Young. Yeah.
I didn't know where Algier went to college, if we're being honest. That information left my mind.
As a
Spend one
fan,
weekend with a Debbie guy and look at me.
Yeah. D2 with Daniel Jones off the board. That seems a little early for me. Ladarius, what do you think about that Daniel Jones pick right there? Is that too early, or is that the spot where he should be going?
Listen, let me preface with saying I like Daniel Jones. I feel it's a bit too early. I think you could have got him maybe a little bit later, but it's depending how you're looking at building your team. And I see he already had Herbert, which makes the movie a little bit more interesting. So me personally, I probably wouldn't have gone that high. Maybe a couple of rounds later, sure. But I think for me personally, I wouldn't have. I'm very high on Danny Dimes, but not that high.
What about you, Craig? Oh, wait, you're just about to be on the clock. It's my classic move. Joey, what do you think about Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones is who I wanted with my 4th pick, and I thought he would be there. This is why we mock. Daniel Jones has moved up my rankings for Dynasty. I think Dabble has unlocked him. I'm excited for him next year. I took him in the 5th round in one of those startups I mentioned earlier, and I was ecstatic. But the news is out a little bit, so I thought, okay, I'm going to reach for him here in the 4th. But I think they just get him a receiver. And look, I mean, Josh Allen in Buffalo didn't really have any receivers up until a couple years ago, and they brought in Diggs. And look at him now. So.
Yeah, you're right. He's piecing it together with Sterling,
really
Shepard, and Isaiah Hodgins, and whoever else, Richie James, whoever else he can throw the ball to over there. Greg, you drafted Saquon Barkley on the turn, who I had a pipe dream of making it back to me after I took ETN, and then Devontae Adams, another guy I was hoping would slip. I like your draft so far. A little bit of age mixed with some youth at the running back position. Do you view this as a win now team for you?
At the moment, I do. Devontae Adams as the wide receiver 13 is just like too far down for me. I really couldn't let him. I mean, people were concerned about him without Rodgers, and he had like 1,500 yards and 14 TDs, and I don't expect him to do it that every year. But whoever's quarterback there next year, he's going to be the alpha receiver, and they're going to pay something, whether it's a highly touted rookie or a veteran that they want for quarterback there, because that team wants to win, and they have, a lot of other win now pieces. So I think he's going to continue to be productive for the next few years. And Barkley, it'll be interesting to see if the Giants are going to pay him and he's going to come back. I would think that they do. But clearly, if he's on that team, they have a plan and he's rejuvenated there. And whether it's Daniel Jones, which I think it probably is with what he's done, towards the end of this year.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to the coaching in the situation where they know how to utilize him. He's happy to be there again, and he's just a stud player.
I'll be interested to see if they do sign Barkley and then they would just franchise tag Daniel Jones for 1 year.
Could be.
Although I think Daniel, if he gets them another round in the playoffs, I think he deserves to get paid.
Well, the rumors are that they already have a contract in front of him, right? Whether or not it's to his liking, that they've already placed a longer-term deal in front of Daniel Jones is what the reports are saying. But I agree with you guys. Why move on from something like that? There's a lot of room to go down. And you're not guaranteed to go up, especially with the play we saw from Daniel Jones.
Z2 is killing me in this draft.
Devonta Smith and Darius, your name is Kyle. It's not the Pitts on here. Kyle Pitts just got drafted 4-5.
Yeah,
were you hoping to grab him, or were you happy to see someone else draft him?
Yeah, it ruined my brand first and foremost. So that's a huge downer for the brand. I admit, and it's the Falcons fan in me, but I like Kyle Pitts enough to say that maybe next year's going to be better, healthier now, especially with Desmond Ridder, maybe, likely moving forward to starter, getting more reps with him. I think I can see Kyle Pitts being a guy kind of resurging next season. So it's a down reason. It's a downside for me for 2 reasons that he got taken off the board.
Really? He fell back to me.
Makes sense. Scott in here had a question for us. So do you guys think the Giants beat the Eagles? With all that talk we just had about the Giants, Craig, do you think the Giants are going to take down the Eagles in the divisional round?
I don't think they do, but I do think that they have a legitimate shot. The most important thing to me is just going to be, what do they get out of Jalen Hurts on the other side of the ball? Is he completely healthy? Is he going to be a little bit more restrained in what he's able to do because of the injury that he had? And they already talked about that, in practice. They weren't still getting fully up to speed. Is it just sort of maintenance to make sure he's fully ready to go this week? That's going to be the key, and we're not going to know till we see him out there. But it's one of those things about divisional games, and this is essentially just another divisional game. They've already played them twice. These teams know each other. And again, with a great coaching staff there in the Giants, they're going to be ready for them. So I think it's going to be a close game.
Divisional games hit different. It's fun watching those in the playoffs. I mean, I mentioned a stat this morning, not this divisional game, but the Bills-Dolphins. Josh Allen has 16 fumbles on the year. 8 of them have come against the Dolphins the 3 times he's played them. They got his number, and it's those in-division teams that know a little bit more about how you play. Maybe they got you rang up a little bit different. Can't just follow
the Ravens almost pulled it off too against the Bengals.
Yeah, it does not matter in these divisional games a lot of the time. Yeah. They stay close. These teams are super familiar with each other.
It's going to be interesting when the Eagles have to beat the Giants and then the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl. It's like an NFC East run. Oh, did I just discount the 49ers?
Can you imagine that a couple, like a year or two ago, saying that the gauntlet through the NFC was through the East to get to the playoffs? Like it was the NFC least is what it was called for years. And now it could be the NFC East gauntlet to make it to the playoffs. Or to the Super Bowl. Wow.
NFC least to NFC beast. There you go. Someone put that on a shirt.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. It's definitely within the realm of possibility, but I'm still taking the Eagles in that one. Joe, you grabbed DK Metcalf there.
I was happy.
The former Dynasty darling who fell off the radar of a lot of people. I was considering him instead of Mark Andrews right there with my last pick. You like DK Metcalf in Dynasty?
I really do. I was debating between Garrett Wilson and DK Metcalf, honestly. And almost pulled the trigger on Metcalf. So, sometimes these little things happen to you because you're a good person where the player you really want will fall right back to you. So,
also, Scott in here saying Joey Devonta wasn't getting past me. So you wouldn't have gotten Devonta Smith anyways.
Okay.
Also, come here now in the chat saying the Giants beating the Eagles is like Liverpool beating Real Madrid. Joey, is that?
Yeah, we knew who that was for.
I wasn't sure if it was an insult or not, though. So I was looking to Joey's reaction to determine the level of insult.
Listen, when you've got a midfielder that just tackles Mo Salah and takes out his arm to take out the best player in the match even starts, I mean, I need to just calm down real quick. Just take.
Sounds like good sports.
Make my pick.
I found my Netherlands soccer jersey, after the World Cup ended. So glad to have that back. It's just sitting in my closet now. I guess I'll pull it out in 4 years or 2 years for the Euro Cup.
Well, just wear it until the next time they play. That way you know where it is.
That way, don't forget. That's a great idea, Craig. I'll just shower in it for the next 2 years, and then we'll be good to go. I think I support too many orange teams. I got a lot of orange in my closet between the Browns, Clemson, and the Netherlands national team. That's just a lot of required orange clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Scott in here said, damn, Joey took my next pick, and Swamp also said, no, Joey sniped me. So your Ramondre Stevenson pick was going to be the pick of the next 2 people, it looks like. You're buying in that what we saw from the Rhino this year is what we're going to get from the Rhino next year?
Yeah, he looked fantastic when he had the workload. And, even if Damian Harris is back in some type of fashion, which I don't think he's going to be, I think he can probably go somewhere and get paid. I like him a lot next year. He looked really good this year. Yeah.
I have a hard time trusting Bill Belichick running backs, but I
normally
think that's
I do.
Me. It's like I think that's something I need to get over. Craig, are you buying into that Ramondre is going to be the lead dog here?
So there was a time years ago, think back to Corey Dillon, where he was more single RB minded, and then there was a shift, and whether it's just he wanted to stop investing in the running back position and use guys piecemeal or what, I don't know who can explain Bill Belichick's brain, but I do think that he would like to do that if he has someone that's just well-rounded in all facets of the game, which Stevenson this year has shown himself to be. I don't think it's going to completely cut out the other running backs, and I think it's a good situation to have for the Patriots, but I do think he has shown the ability to be sort of more that, 70-30 type of split guy or something like that at running back.
God, I'm sitting here on the clock. I do not like drafting this kind of team. I don't have a wide
I am
receiver
disappointed, Joey, that you didn't take Dameon Pierce there.
I didn't think I'd have to. Z2, one thing I just want to thank you for watching Front Yard Fantasy, because had you not, you would not know what it takes to just get me burning up in a seat right now. And you've accomplished that. Everyone I love is on your team. I might just leave my team and just join your team and co-manage this mock draft with you.
I regret that pick immediately. I regret everything about it. There's nothing in me that's happy about the pick.
You sighed as you made the pick.
So. I know. As I clicked it, I was upset with myself.
Was Olave
not-
still available? Oh, no, he wasn't. Okay.
It's not that I dislike Jameson Williams. It's just that as my first wide receiver in a dynasty league, I don't feel safe or comfortable. There's not any ounce of comfort that we're going to get that elite upside that he can present. Now, he has that elite upside, but man, I felt uncomfortable with Christian Watson, the next guy off the board, not knowing the future of Aaron Rodgers in that Green Bay team. I'm not sure his value stands up without Aaron Rodgers there. So I went with the guy who's the higher caliber talent, but not feeling too good about it. Greg, you made that pick quick. You knew you wanted Dobbins if he made it to you?
Yeah, out of those running backs there, he's as far as the guys with the age and the production of the situation I like the most. Joe Mixon, someone I thought about, and I don't have any data to back this up, so I'm probably wrong. But it just feels like he's so up and down lately with how that team performs that Dobbins is a workhorse. He's going to be healthy again next year. It seems like he has a chip on his shoulder. So I'm really looking forward to the leagues that I have him in.
Yeah, dude wants the ball more. And if they get rid of Greg Roman, hopefully he will get the ball more next year. Craig, you time and time again keep taking the guys that I'm hoping slip back to me. Terry McLaurin. I almost took him instead of Jameson Williams there.
We're having a good time today, guys.
Yeah.
I told you I'm out of draft shape. I'm taking everything personally. Craig hates me. He's doing it just to hurt my feelings. I know it.
You shouldn't have sent me your draft list.
Yeah, you're right. Next time I won't make that mistake. I'm just so trusting. Scammers and ears of the Anaheim Ducks are waiting for you, Simon. Wah, 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 wah. And Scott said Devonta Smith could be a top 5 wide receiver in fantasy next season. Ladarius, hot or not? What do you think of this take? Could he be a top 5 wide receiver next season?
Yeah, I really do. Because first and foremost, I love this Eagles offense for a multitude of reasons. And like I say, it kind of circles back to how I feel about Jalen Hurts as well, taking that leap. And yeah, even on a team with A.J. Brown, well, I can see a situation where Devontae kind of gets his lion's share this year and kind of be like one of those receivers. There's always one, maybe 2 a year that kind of emerges that we kind of think is kind of like maybe top 10-ish, maybe 20-ish, and kind of takes that major leap. You know, like Craig, I don't have the data in front of me, the numbers it's all just conjecture. But I think Devontae Smith could definitely be that receiver to take that major leap and kind of maybe be that top 5, maybe top 3.
Joey, are you agreeing with Ladarius here? You think we could see a season like that from Devonta Smith? He's a first-round talent, so he's got the talent there, but there's another piece in his way maybe in A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I mean, before they brought A.J. Brown in, I mean, you look at Devonta Smith's rookie year, he looked fantastic. And honestly, the last half of the season this year, it was almost, I don't want to say preferred, but it was a 1A, 1B situation with those two. Top 5, that's a little bold for me, but listen, the Bengals had 2 top 12 wide receivers this year with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
We've seen Mike
and then
Evans
the Dolphins
and Chris
as
Godwin
well.
do
So it's not out of the question at all.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you guys. He's got the talent. It's just going to be a matter of if he gets that level of volume there in that offense with A.J. Brown there as well, how it breaks down. I could see them both being top 12. I'd be easier to buy onto that one, both top 12, than Devonta Smith top 5. I think
I'm going to correct myself. I was thinking the Dolphins and I said Bengals as the example, although I still might be right. I just want to say that I wasn't really. I said that, but I meant Dolphins.
I'm not sure if the Bengals got there this year.
Yeah.
For the record, Simon, I was going to take Pickens if I didn't take McLaurin, so you got the other one.
Got the other one. I was fine with Pickens. I was upset about McLaurin, but you feel pretty good grabbing George Pickens there. Are you a Pickens fan then, Craig, a believer?
You know, outside of the injury and some sort of maturity off the field type of issues in college that he had, I thought he was the most talented wide receiver if you're talking about just pure talent along with size in that draft. You know, I understand why he fell. But if he can capitalize on that and they can get more consistent play out of the quarterback from the Steelers like they kind of showed towards the end of the year a little bit more with Kenny Pickett developing, I certainly think he can be. I think the guy's a stud at wide receiver. It's just how is he going to get used over in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I'm with you. What we saw, especially over the back half of this season here, was really promising for a young wide receiver there. I think he takes over as the wide receiver 1 in that Pittsburgh offense next year, if he hasn't done so already. Ladarius, do you think Pickens is going to be that 1, or do you think Deontay Johnson is going to hold on to that wide receiver 1 mantra?
No, I can definitely see a situation with George Pickens being the wide receiver 1. Once again, I just think, Kenny Pickett, once again, goes back to the quarterback situation. So, I mean, I like George Pickens as a talent. I think he definitely has that upside to be a wide receiver one, which is not a knock on Deontay Johnson whatsoever. But to me, it's variant upon Kenny Pickett and what we're going to see in Kenny Pickett moving forward next season. So, yeah, but if you ask me today, he's a wide receiver one for the Steelers.
There we go. Joey, you just grabbed your second quarterback, Jared Goff, and now
Yep.
I am getting nervous realizing how many teams do not have a second quarterback yet as I'm sitting down there without one. It could get ugly fast. I have a habit of playing quarterback chicken in these Dynasty Superflex startups with my second quarterback. And sometimes you end up with Baker Mayfield and Taylor Heineke as your second and third quarterbacks, and you're not too happy about it.
Yeah.
Joey, you like Jared Goff going into next year? You buying into the Lions, buying into him?
Love Jared Goff next year. He was the best fantasy quarterback at home this year. If you look at his at-home stats, there was no one better in the league. 27-3 touchdown interception ratio. I bring it up all the time because I think people need to know that. You need to remember it. They're going to be playing their games indoors. I know I was really high on Matt Ryan indoors earlier in the season, and there was some stats there to show that. But Jared Goff had a whole season of performing incredible at home. I love him next year. He has now two talented, very talented wide receivers to throw it to. Hawkinson's gone. That makes me sad. But, yeah, I'm all in on Jared Goff next year. He is a quarterback I will be drafting a lot of.
And Jacob in here, what's up, Jake? Said, I'm
What's up,
here to
buddy?
stand for Deontay and reaffirm that he's the wide receiver one over George Pickens. Joey, how are you feeling on this? How do you feel about the Pickens versus Deontay Johnson debate? You with our friend Jake here, or are you siding on the Pickens side?
So Jake and I, we run a team together. And if it
Fight,
were to ever come between Pickens and Deontay, I would just hope that we could take the one that goes later, because that's how I feel about these guys. They're really even for me. And I know that's a safe answer, but it's a lot like the Mike Evans, Chris Godwin situation from last year. I'm going to take the one that goes later because they're that close for me.
Greg, you were talking about these two guys. Do you prefer Pickens over Deontay next year, or if we're just talking redraft?
Redraft, it feels to me like Johnson with his PPR floor that we've seen throughout his career is probably safer.
Yeah.
Because I just haven't seen, like we said, with Kenny Pickett, that he is not necessarily going to take that next step. If he does, certainly I could see Pickens if that offense is expanding and opening up more. But if you're talking about safer for next year, it's probably Johnson for me.
That makes sense. I'm just looking at this draft board, and my God, the running back value that you can get on some of these older backs. Joe Mixon in the 5th, in the 6th, Nick Chubb in the 6th, Dalvin Cook in the 7th round.
Yeah.
You can build a win now team with these running backs. I mean, hell, look at Ladarius getting Derrick Henry in the 4th round. You get 1 year out of Derrick Henry taking you to a title. That's still a pretty good pick if you get full strength Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Who was it that brought it up on this? I think it was Coop who brought up with the rumors swirling around a potential new team for Lamar Jackson. He brought up the possibility of having Lamar Jackson in Tennessee, him at quarterback, RPO with Derrick Henry.
Ooh.
That sounds disgusting. I want the
How
way
do you
we
scheme against that.
Right, that's what we thought.
Wow.
Like, they are probably not going to win the Super Bowl, but this is what Coop said. They're probably not going to win the Super Bowl, but they're going to win a couple games by 50. You know what I mean? Like they're going to hang 100 points. They're going to drop 700 yards against the Houston Texans next year if that's how it works. I want it just for that reason.
That's too funny.
What do I do here? You know what? Let's take a little bit of a risk. I'm going to take Calvin Ridley with my pick here to pair with Trevor Lawrence coming back. I expect him to be the wide receiver one there in Jacksonville. A little bit riskier pick, but I like the stack with Lawrence. I think he's the big dog there next season over the Jones brothers, though at least one of the Jones brothers is a free agent, if I remember correctly. And they're not brothers. They just have the same last name.
It's like Tim and I.
Just like you and Tim. Kirk was great, but I think he'd be better not as a true one.
Ooh, Rashad White. Look at that.
Rashad White off the board.
Kyle Trask going to look good handing off to him next year.
Is that who you expect to be the Bucs quarterback, Joe?
No, I expect Derek Carr to be the Bucs quarterback next year.
I also expect Derek Carr to be the Bucs quarterback next year, and I'd be happy if Derek Carr was.
I will buy a jersey because you know what? Derek Carr will wear creamsicle orange, and he won't be a baby about it.
Get that creamsicle orange Carr jersey. Is that why you guys don't wear them?
Yeah, no, because Tom Brady don't want to wear it. That's why he's too vain.
He's too. Creamsicle's not his color, guys.
This has been my soapbox rant for the longest time. I'm not the biggest Brady fan as a Bucs fan because he won't wear the creamsicle. Like, put it on. Let's go. Be a Buck. Embrace the awfulness that comes with it.
Well, Craig, you drafted the unofficial new Bucks quarterback, Derek Carr.
Congratulations.
Are you expecting him to end up in Tampa Bay?
I don't know where he's going to go, but I feel like his sort of swoon towards the end of the season, I mean, just this year has a lot to do with that team. I don't think the coaching staff having faith in him and wanting him to be there. Really, you know, the prior group had given him that contract. I know they went and got Devontae Adams, and it sounds like Adams is going to have a say in what they said, quarterback position going forward, because, you know, that I'm sure always goes well. But Derek Carr has shown previously to be a perfectly fine QB2 for fantasy football, and I expect that probably wherever he goes next.
It's interesting that if they give Adams the say and he's like, okay, go Aaron Rodgers, because that's what you would think he would say to a point. But a lot of people saying Brady to Las Vegas. There's going to be some shuffling at quarterback this year. It's going to be exciting to see what happens.
Living in Wisconsin, I hear too much Packer stuff, and a lot of it was that I heard about Adams. It was that he just didn't want to play with Rodgers. Was a big part of it. So I know there's a lot of smoke about that, and Rodgers going to have his fun smoking out whatever in the desert, you know, in the off season. But I would be surprised if Rodgers ended up in Vegas.
I keep hearing the Jets
for Aaron Rodgers.
I just can't ever see like a Hall of Fame Packers quarterback going to New York to play. It just doesn't make any sense.
Anytime a quarterback like a star quarterback becomes available, the Jets are like, us? Did someone say quarterback? Like Lamar Jackson, the team he's rumored to the most is the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, the team he's rumored to most is the Jets. I've even heard Jets fans delusionally think Tom Brady's coming to the Jets. That's never happening. That would never happen, right?
I just have this mental image of Aaron Rodgers with the Jets, and you know how those Jets fans are. They'll turn on him. He'll just walk off the field and never come back again.
He's done.
If he goes there, sorry.
No, go ahead, Craig.
If he goes to the Jets, Joey Rodgers, they need to make sure he doesn't send any pictures to any reporters.
Yeah, that's important.
Would his be Ron Wisconsin? Would that be Aaron Rodgers' name? Would that be his?
Close enough.
Are we allowed to talk about that? I think we can.
Ron Wisconsin. Who is that a play on the Michael
Ron Mexico
name?
was
Ron Mexico. Yeah,
Ron Mexico.
Because Mexico. Oh wait, no, that's a country. So I don't know. Ron Italy. Because it's shaped like a boot.
There goes Tyler Algier. We were talking about him a little bit earlier. Scott taking him in the 7th or 8th round down there. And
I'm coming up soon.
You are coming up. Quarterbacks are starting to go. Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins, and Geno Smith all gone in the last 2 rounds. We got a couple teams still waiting on some quarterbacks. And by a couple, I mean me and Swamp are the only 2 teams left without a second quarterback. And Swamp's joining me. Going to make it at least to the 9th round of that one, grabbing Aaron Jones right here. And that running back value seems to continue to just fall. Craig, do you like Aaron Jones in Dynasty? He is getting a little bit older, but he's there with the Packers, and it looks like he's still going to be the lead dog after what we saw from A.J. Dillon this year.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's fine if you're looking at probably a 2-3 year window at most. If you're projecting beyond that, which is insanely hard to do anyway, he's probably not going to have as much value. It's entirely possible A.J. Dillon doesn't even end up there, depending on what the Packers do with that team. If they try to just restart that entire offense with younger guys, if they just go with Jordan Love, which, I mean, Rodgers is still on the team as of next year. But if they end up going with a younger quarterback that's less proven, they're probably going to be using the running game even more. So I would expect him to continue to have value, especially here, like you said, in the 8th round, mid-8th round. That's great value for that guy.
Great value.
I'm loving all this running back value that I see right here.
It is hot.
Yeah.
Come here now in the chat saying Derek Carr in Tampa Bay sounds sweet. IDKY. I'm with you, man. It makes sense. It makes sense. And Jay saying Brady's going to San Fran, thinks he's going to be a 49er next year.
If Purdy wins one more game, like how can they not just roll him out there now? I mean, get Tom Brady, but
Scamper said Zach Wilson is going to do well in Tampa. The field.
You had me for the first half. I was getting heated, and then I calmed down.
Jail in here. What's up, Jail? Said my boys. My boy in the chat. What's up? And coming now said, I would like to see Lamar Jackson in Detroit. Now that would be fun, adding Lamar Jackson into that offense. Joey would not like that for his Jared Goff shares.
It would run this team that we're not going to play out. Like, I would be so upset.
I just imagine like 3 months from now he signs with Detroit and Joey just slams his fists on the table and goes, no, about this league in particular.
Yeah, I remember.
Simon, you need to save a photo of this to just look back at the end of next year and see how ridiculous this ends up being.
Oh, I'll save it because it'll probably be crazy. Jacob in here, Jake saying insane value on JSN and QJ there. You had 2 of the rookie wide receivers going off the board in the 8th round. I imagine as people familiarize themselves more with these rookies and sleeper ADP updates, we'll see those guys go earlier for sure. I haven't done a deep dive into those rookie wide receivers yet. Also, Jay said, I want Lamar in New York. See ya, Danny. And Jay said, stop trying to trade away my quarterback.
What? Jay, I need to have a conversation with Jay off. You need to embrace Danny Dimes. You need to, because he's your quarterback.
Jay, these Giants fans, or Joey, these Giants fans are they're suffering. And they're still suffering, even though they won a playoff game and they're in the divisional round. They haven't quite escaped the mindset of being a suffering franchise yet, I feel like. Even though it wasn't that long ago, they fell into it quickly after their team turned bad. I think Gettleman really did them dirty. So I understand the pessimism, but one more year and they'll probably buy in on Daniel Jones. If not, Jay's a lost cause.
Here's
also,
a classic Joey pick.
It is a classic Joey pick. It is.
Who'd you grab, Joey?
Brian Robinson. If I can't get Dameon Pierce, I'm going to go get Brian Robinson.
Yeah, but what's a team without Dameon Pierce? Is it even a dynasty team?
You know, I wore my Dameon Pierce t-shirt in Las Vegas and no one thought it was funny.
I love your Dameon Pierce
it's
t-shirt.
great. I wore it at the roulette table and the lady wouldn't even talk to me. So
also, and that had to do with the Dameon Pierce.
I was like, do you
t-shirt,
know who
right?
he is? And she's like,
That's all he was wearing, Simon, was just the
yeah,
shirt.
I know.
Yeah.
That might have been the problem.
Yeah. That's the part he
Yeah.
conveniently left out. That's the part.
Burner in here saying, suck it, JL. And JL saying, you suck it, Burner. And they missed each other. Look at that sweet reunion in the chat. I'm on the clock.
Beautiful.
I'm trying not
Gary,
to.
excellent pick on Russell Wilson.
Oh, you stinky man. You do not need Russell Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's just a Simon Spite pick.
I 100% think it was a Simon Spite pick. Like, without a doubt in my mind, that was a Simon Spite pick. Fine. Who needs quarterbacks anyways? Not me. I don't even like quarterbacks. So we're just going to keep on drafting not quarterbacks is what we're going to do here. Here's Rashad Bateman. I'll take Rashad Bateman here. I was excited to see what this year would have been without injury. So I'm excited to see next year without injury.
Where are you hoping Hopkins ends up, Simon?
I don't care. DeAndre Hopkins' talent level, he will be the wide receiver 1 on pretty much any team you put him on there. There's higher upside places, but we've also seen this dude kill it with quarterbacks like Tom Savage and be a top 12 fantasy wide receiver. So, like, I know that sounds bad, but his talent is QB averse or whatever that word is. It doesn't matter who his quarterback is throwing him the ball. He's going to be successful. Now, where do I hope he ends up? It'd be sick to see him end up on one of these high-powered offenses where he could really shine.
Yeah.
It would not be as exciting to see him end up in like Chicago, but even then, he'll be the wide receiver 1 in Chicago.
Yeah.
Also, Scamper said nuke to Green Bay. Maybe. I'm not sure that would be the move for them if Rodgers leaves, because it seems like maybe at that point they're entering a little bit more of a rebuild unless they got a quick solution at quarterback, which I don't think is Jordan Love.
I've heard the Hopkins and Brady, both the Las Vegas news, like talk a little bit, and
oh my God,
having Adams, Hopkins, and Brady, that would be. But what is Las Vegas expecting if they get Brady? Because their defense isn't that great.
Yeah. It's awful.
Like he's in a better situation with Tampa Bay
for years.
It's awful.
Scott in here said New England for Hopkins because Belichick loves him. Belichick does love him. And you know what? I'd be cool with him there. Scott said, how about Miami for Hopkins? Yeah, Adam to Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe then he's not the clear one in that offense. But that would be disgusting if they did that. Greg drafted a rookie wide receiver here. Is this one you're excited about?
Yeah, I mean, if you rewind like a year, he's in the conversation as the top 1 or 2 wide receiver in this class. He had some issues at LSU and had some injuries, but the talent is still there for him, and I still expect him to be, probably a top 4 drafted wide receiver in this class. And I'm really excited for what he could bring to the field in the NFL. And he has a fun name to say, so.
which is, let's see. Oh,
come on, Simon, try it.
Well, the first name I just see the K, and my screen went entirely blank whenever I clicked on his player card. So I'm just gonna go with K, but
It's actually pronounced Wreath. But
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Joey.
it keeps. They don't want me to know about this player. Every time I click on it, it just turns my screen entirely blank. Burner in here said Carter Houston because David, now Derek.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, I think they've seen enough car tragedy in Houston for one lifetime.
I'm gonna reach because it's fun.
Around or more.
Mm-hmm. I could definitely get him the next round, but I'm gonna go ahead and take him now.
You know what, Joey? And I feel like that's something that I love doing at this point in the draft. When you hit these double-digit rounds, take your guy. Don't get cute. Like, is it really going to matter that much, the value they get from the 10th to the 11th round? You're going to be way more upset that you missed out on your guy. In those early rounds, play the draft game. But at this point, just grab your guy, man. There's not that big of a difference between a 10th and an 11th round pick.
Yeah, all season FYF and on a lot of our shows, we were talking about how David Montgomery, we think that the Bears are just going to kind of run to the wheels run off. But then Herbert got hurt. But what we saw to Herbert, he looked really, really good this year. I expect him to be the running back 1 in Chicago next year. And I'm happy to take the running back 1 in Chicago in the 10th round.
There have been reports that they're looking to bring David Montgomery back, though. Have you seen that, Joey? Are you buying into that? Or do you think he's going to get the bag somewhere else and they won't be able to?
Believe that's what would happen. I've seen it too, but
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think some of these running backs, him and Pollard, are probably going to have decent sized bags thrown their way.
Well, I'm glad he didn't sign today and I just didn't see it because I would look silly.
Also, Jay in here saying, great pick, Joey. Loves it. I know Dustin would be a fan of that pick as well. And Jill said, I am getting that itch to draft. Did you get sniped? Oh, your Falcons QB taking one pick before
I hate
Cal with the God, they got you bad.
Well, folks, it's great being on here today. I'll just I'll get my cat to finish my draft for me,
Jay said, did Joey pass out? Yeah, I think he was so shocked by the snipe as well.
No, I was trying to bring Kevin. I was trying to bring Kevin on stream. He's down here by my feet.
Kevin.
Yeah, my cat just left. Yeah, I think she was upset too, so she left.
Craig, do you have a cat?
I do, and she's sleeping. Normally, she's trying to get me to feed her, but I fed her beforehand. So
I'm the only.
You're the only one without a cat, Simon.
I know. Aww. It's because all of the most important women in my life are allergic to cats. My mom, my sister, and my girlfriend all have cat allergies. If it wasn't for them, I'd have one because I love cats. See, absolutely love them.
I hate cats. I think they're the worst animals. But this cat is like a dog, so I love it. He licked my feet when I got home last night.
Come here now said Simon is a cat. Simon just
Joey,
is
do you
cat.
hate Mr. Scampers?
I like Scampers. He's my favorite chat cat.
But what about Mrs. Scampers?
Awful. Just riding Scampers, Mr. Scampers' coattails to get on screen. I have no respect for that, Mr. Scampers. Like,
see ya, Scampers.
You know what? I bet if I create a Mrs. Scampers account, they'll put my comments up there. Listen, I work for FYF, they'll put my comments up here. So,
and Joey, I mean, I'm not sure you can compare the two. We got some.
They did before you worked there, so I think maybe that's the key. They just ignore you once you work for them.
Yeah, it's all a scam to get people involved.
You don't understand how much validation I need, Craig, on a daily basis.
I appreciate you, Joey.
I love that pick, though. You didn't get Desmond Ridder, Ladarius, but you got Jamal Williams out of Detroit.
That's a great one.
Dude was a touchdown machine this year. You think that's going to stay the same next year?
That's my team need.
I hope so. I think one of the good things about while Detroit's defense was Detroit's defense, the one upside was their offense, and they knew who to go to. Listen, in the red zone, just give it to Jamal Williams. It seems simple enough. Like I think Detroit's offense is there. They just got to work on whatever that other side of the ball is called, defense. And I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I think we might see a little bit more of the same going next season.
If people could stop drafting their third and fourth quarterbacks, that'd be great right about now. We're really running out of starters.
Yeah, I was going to, but I'm like, I saw you, and I'm like, I can't do it. Out of my pure conscience, I'm like, I'll.
Yikes! I really thought I might be able to snag like a Brock Purdy combo with someone else here at the end, but
oh man,
It's not working out. There's one more
I
guy.
like that Elijah Mitchell pick.
Thank you.
Swamp, don't do it. Swamp, don't do it. Don't take that quarterback.
Don't be that guy.
Then you're just projecting who I'm going to take here, as if it's not gonna come back to bite me. There's a couple names in there. It's not over yet at the quarterback position.
Former second-round pick Zach Wilson still on the board.
Yeah. Former second-round pick Zach Wilson is on the board
until you pulled the pick back. He was
former second round of this draft.
Yeah,
pick.
I think it's karma. You have to get him.
It's true.
It's karma. You have to get him.
No, Jones Karen needs to finish their draft with Zach Wilson at this point.
Just to spite you. Like,
just
I like him.
Me. Just to say, no, I meant to take him there.
You know what? Because I love a narrative. I want nothing more than Zach Wilson to be like the QB1 next year in fantasy. And for us to come back to this draft and be like, Simon, why are you trying to pigeonhole our community? Like, you need to be open-minded.
Exactly. Let people draft. If Zach Wilson comes back, then I will make a formal apology video and eat an entire habanero pepper on stream. If Zach Wilson finishes as the overall quarterback 1 in fantasy next year. You know what? Make it a ghost pepper. I'll eat on stream.
J-Wall, make sure you go clip where Simon swapped Zach Wilson with Kyler Murray. That way we can just replay that in the year.
Get that ready to go. Hey, I mean, I guess there's worlds where Zach Wilson outscores Kyler Murray next year, right? Like if Kyler Murray doesn't play football, is one way that could happen.
Karen Jones in the draft chat. I meant to take him there, and I don't want to hear it when they beat the Bills again. It's coming for you, Simon.
Shout out, Karen. Karen's going to come get me. Also, Jay said in XFL fantasy for Zach Wilson. Man, we're just throwing all sorts of shade at Zach Wilson today. And I'm on the clock. Okay, we're good. You know, we're going to get one more season out of Mr. Tom Brady. He's going to play one more year, and he's going to win a Super Bowl, and he's going to win my fantasy leagues for me, paired with Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, no.
Then we're going to roll from there.
I just
for some reason, I know Tom Brady's 45 and Aaron Rodgers is not, but I feel a lot safer that Tom Brady's going to play another year than Aaron Rodgers is going to play another year. Like Aaron Rodgers, I've got no certainty that he's going to be back on the field next year. Craig, you think Aaron Rodgers is back on a football field next year? Yeah,
I do.
As a Packer or somewhere else?
Most likely as a Packer.
Ooh, okay.
Joey, it sounds like maybe you disagree with that.
I don't necessarily disagree. I'm not piped in like Craig is to the. He said he's been listening to a lot of Packers stuff. Ooh, that Sam Howell pick.
He's the starter next year in Washington.
I'm glad we're friends. Zach Wilson, there you go.
There he goes.
Yeah.
See? Look at that. Ended up with Zach Wilson anyways.
I don't like that Matthew Stafford pick though. I'm kidding. No, you're good. You're good. No, I don't know with Aaron Rodgers. I felt like that was maybe even made for TV. You know how much I love a narrative. That felt like he's walking off Green Bay when he was walking off Randall Cobb, but maybe it's just a walk off for Randall Cobb.
It did look like he was done, but oftentimes we overthink these things, and the easiest path is the path that presents itself without much in the way, right? The easiest solution, or the most likely solution, is the easiest path, which would be to just stay in Green Bay. I really don't know what to do here. I was hoping for something else, but instead, I guess this is what we got. This is where we're sitting.
I clicked on a rookie name too, and it did the black screen on me.
Did it?
Yeah, the S. Tucker.
Sean Tucker.
Sean Tucker. I think it'll be fun when you're in mock drafts this year to be like, well, I'll take him. I guess I'm just stucker here with this pick because you're stuck with it, but you're stucker. Yeah, that one's not going to work. In my head, it was working really good. Like I pictured all three of you like laughing really hard.
Yeah, but I love the commitment to it. Like you said it, and then you're like, wait, just in case they didn't hear, let me make sure they got what I'm saying right here. You gotta commit, Joey, and not be afraid for it to just fall
stick with
flat.
it through the draft, Joey. I just want to hear you calling him Stucker the whole time.
Yeah,
Stucker up.
I barely know
this pick. I'm gonna do it a lot this year.
Also, Scott here said, who's Brady playing for? The old folks home next year? And Jason Rodgers just likes the attention.
Exactly.
Yeah. You agree, Craig? You think that's what's going on?
He's a diva. He was since he got drafted and went to Green Bay, and he learned from Brett Favre. So
Also, come here now and here. So thanks for the invite to this draft. I enjoyed it and the stream. Have a nice evening, guys. See y'all later. Come here now. Thanks so much for joining us. We love drafting with you guys, and I missed it. This is so much fun. But I'm not sure how I feel about my team. We're in the last round here, Craig. You ended with 2 quarterbacks right there, Sam Howell and Anthony Richardson. Ooh. You have hype for these young quarterbacks, or are these just guys that you expect to land starting jobs in Superflex? That's money.
Well, it sounds like Howell's going to be starting. At least that's the plan that they're telling, potential offensive coordinators with Washington. That's the report. I really liked him a lot in college. I was surprised with how far that he fell. He showed a lot in that start against Dallas. So I think giving him that opportunity, that's the name of the game. And even if, I were to turn around and trade him for something else needed or whatever, like you said, it's just that super flex appeal of quarterbacks. Then Anthony Richardson's probably going to be the most divisive quarterback prospect in this draft. He has like all the athleticism and physical talent that you would want. People are calling him, like Lamar 2.0 or something just because of that athleticism. But he's really, really unrefined as a passer and has to figure that out. But if he can go somewhere, to sit behind, let's just say, Daniel Jones for a couple of years or something where he can learn and grow, kind of like Daboll did with the Josh Allen or something, I do think he has all the tools to become a starting quarterback in today's NFL. Whether or not he gets there is going to be a very hotly debated topic in this offseason.
Yeah, he's got some fun tape to watch, though. If you just type in Anthony Richardson highlights, I understand why people are getting hyped about this kid. He looks real out there. Joey, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah.
Was the average height on your team a little bit too high? You needed to bring it down a little bit?
Please don't steal my jokes before I'm about to make them. I have nothing else to say. Got this whole, I've got, you guys talk about having the stats in front of you. I got the jokes in front of me. I have a whole spreadsheet. Each player has a joke. And when you take that one joke, I have nothing left to say. So, way to go, content.
Guess your list fell a little short on that one. Also, speaking of, Sam Wagman cracked me up so hard with his video in the 100th episode montage. God, just had me whenever it cuts him, it was just from his eyes up.
Do you want to know how it happened?
Yeah.
So I'm standing in the bathroom with Sam Wagman, and I love how this story starts.
Yeah.
And I'm pointing the camera at his face, and I look at him. I pull off the side. I go, Sam, you know what I have to do. And he's like, I know, Joey. And I just tilt my phone. I go, boop. Just so he's it's just his eyes are above it.
It was incredible.
He's such a good sport. Sam, thank you for letting me exploit your height. It's too much fun every time.
And then Craig had me dying with Grimace just casually in the background in the bush while you laid out like a truly heartfelt message to us. I was, you guys almost had me a little bit emotional over there. Keith was making fun of me this morning because he said, I saw you just pick up a Rubik's Cube during the middle of one of those breaks. And he was like, I just assumed you were just keeping your mind busy. And that's exactly what it was. It was really sweet of all you guys to throw those messages in there.
My message was really sweet, and Keith cut the end. He cut the sweet part off. So maybe it's like a total jerk, which I get it, but that's this whole nice part to it. But no, just
Craig and Ladarius, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on for the first mock draft of the offseason. As always, it's truly a pleasure getting to stream with you guys.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And it's always glad to be on with you guys. You guys are fantastic as always.
And I'll just second what he said.
Guys, if you're not already following our friends Craig and Ladarius, go follow them on Twitter right now. You can find Craig on Twitter at RotoHeat, Craig and Ladarius on Twitter at Ladarius_Brown. Truly, not only two of the best analysts in this space, but two of the kindest people in this space as well. You're going to want to be following them over there. And Jay said it. Great guests. Absolute great guests. That is going to be it for us today, guys. We're going to post this mock draft in the FYF Discord. So go in there and let us know your thoughts. Who has the best team? Who has the worst team? And please just be not too harsh on my team. Try the compliment sandwich whenever you're talking about my team, because I know it didn't end up too great. But that's going to be it for us today, guys. We'll be back live tomorrow morning for the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Until then, we're out of here. Another big thanks to our guests, Craig and Ladarius, and thank you to everyone in the chat who mocked with us and hung out today. Until tomorrow, adios, everyone.
Bye, everybody.